Stuart. Stuart. What do you want to say to the Muslim community about your remarks, Stuart?
Ex-Obama advisor Stuart Seldowitz, who went viral just last week for targeting a halal food vendor with Islamophobic remarks and rants, caught on video, has officially been charged with a hate crime. Now let's dive into the story before we get into the charges. Some of you might have missed the initial reporting on this, so let's get to that background. Seldowitz served in the Obama administration in addition to serving as deputy director / senior political officer in the United States Department, or the US State Department's Office of Israel and Palestinian Affairs. So he served in that role from 1999 to 2003. Now, throughout a 2-week period, he felt the need to just incessantly harass a 24-year-old man by the name of Mohammed Hussein multiple times, just calling him things like terrorists and rapists. And so here are just some of the vile things that he said to this food vendor.
But you're a terrorist. You support terrorism.
Listen, go. I'm not support something.
No, you support terrorism.
I'm not some. Go. I'm just working here.
You're a terrible person.
You kill children, not me.
What?
Go.
My kids? What about my kids?
You kill children, not me. Go.
I didn't kill children.
Okay, why see here?
You know why? If we killed 4,000 Palestinian kids, you know what? It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
Go.
Did you rape your daughter like Muhammad did? Did you rape your daughter like Muhammad?
I speak English.
You only speak English?
No speak English, no.
You don't speak English?
Yes.
All right, well, that just shows how ignorant you are. It's not my fault that you pray to a criminal.
Listen, I'm working now, okay? Can you leave, please? Go, please.
You're not working.
I'm just working here, yeah. Go.
There's nobody here. I'm going to put big signs here that say this guy believes in Hamas.
So before I get to the update on this story, including the charges, I have to ask you, Oz, what you think about what you just watched, what you just heard. I mean, he literally says, if we killed 4,000 Palestinian children, it wasn't enough.
I mean, that's generally how hardliner Zionists think. Everything to maintain the status quo of the state of Israel is justified. And so I'm not surprised by that level of thinking. Like the hardest liners of Zionism, this is par for the course, to be honest. And so I'm not that shocked. I am a little bit surprised that this guy actually worked at the freaking State Department, working on this particular situation. That's kind of surprising that they have this level of right-wing hardline sicko actually working on official policy for this thing. But no, I'm not surprised when I hear a Zionist speak this way.
Yeah, and I want to be clear, he served in that role in the US State Department from 1999 to 2003, which was obviously before Obama's time, but he later served in the Obama administration as an advisor. So he did have a role within the Obama administration. Now, after those comments went viral, New York police decided to investigate it. They have a hate crimes unit and they began this investigation. New York City Councilwoman Julie Menin tweeted the day the videos were released and went viral that this is vile hate speech and harassment and truly abhorrent. I have contacted the NYPD and they are reviewing these videos. There is no place for hate in our community and city. Now, look, there were calls for him to face charges for what he was engaging in. I wasn't sure what they would charge him with. Obviously, he is motivated by hatred. Obviously, he is harassing this guy because he didn't do it once, he didn't do it twice, he's done it several times, and each time it's been caught on video. But 2 days later, Seldowitz was arrested and charged with aggravated harassment and several counts of stalking. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is the charging details, or the details of the charges in the New York criminal court. And I was surprised to see that this happened. I really didn't think he would be charged with anything. Now, Seldowitz confirmed that he was in fact the individual spewing hatred in the videos. He pleaded not guilty to all charges. He also continued making excuses for his behavior, claiming things that have been unproven, unfounded. He says that the vendor expressed his support for Hamas. I find that really hard to believe. Like, really, a halal vendor, like out of nowhere, is just like, I support Hamas.
New York City of all places.
Yeah.
That seems like bad for business, probably.
Yeah, I'm not buying it at all. I'm just not. And the videos do not depict any comments by the vendor, so there's no evidence of him saying that he's supportive of Hamas. Now, with that said, Stuart Seldowitz says the following: at that point, I got rather upset, and I've said things to him that in retrospect, I probably regret, though that I do regret. Instead of focusing in on him and what he said, I expanded into insulting his religion and so on. Seldowitz told City and State that, quote, if I had to do it all over again, I would not have raised the religious aspect, adding, I don't think I'm an Islamophobic guy. Of course you don't. I've spoken up. I've spoken up for equal treatment of Muslims on numerous occasions with numerous different people. I just think that Palestinian children should be slaughtered, and that slaughtering 4,000 of them in the recent fighting, it wasn't enough. And by the way, the death toll among the children has actually gone up since then. But I just can't imagine. Look, identity is a powerful thing. I get it. I totally understand that. I remember how I felt as I was watching video footage of like ancient Armenian churches in Nagorno-Karabakh being bombed by Azerbaijan. I remember feeling deep anger, a lot of resentment for the government and military of Azerbaijan, but never there wasn't a single moment where I thought to myself, oh, we should do indiscriminate bombings in Azerbaijan. We should slaughter their children. Like, you have to be a real sick person to think about that and to want that and to justify that, in my opinion. I don't know. It's just, and like, I just love how he's like, I plead not guilty to these charges. And then in subsequent interviews, he's like, yeah, I did say these terrible things. And in retrospect, maybe I shouldn't have. Okay, then why'd you plead not guilty? Clearly you're admitting that you engaged in this behavior,
But what's most important is he doesn't think he's an Islamophobic. He's just, he doesn't, I don't think so. Like, I only just said some of the most vile and hateful stuff about an entire religion and people in that video. But I don't think I'm like against them in any way. I just like to say hateful things about them.
Yeah, it's just the lack of self-awareness is pretty incredible. But I do want to move on to a happier angle to this story because I want to just make a point about how most people, even in the darkest times, are good, kind people. And that's certainly true of the New Yorkers who have gone out of their way to show support for this halal food vendor. They have decided to show their support by supporting his business. And so after the videos went viral, the community rallied behind the food vendor and stuck up for him against Seldowitz's claims. And so let's take a look at what that looks like.
I watched the video and I saw it at my street corner and I immediately ran to the cart because to me, my heart is angry and broken that anybody would mess with my friends or my people. When I walk my dog at nighttime, they're always on the lookout. They give me a free falafel. They're part of the community.
I feel ashamed that a guy in such ranking would use such a language to talk to a 24-year-old that's not even responding to him. He's a very good kid. He keeps everything to himself and he's a good kid. So he's gonna move on.
And apparently there has been long lines for this vendor located in the Upper East Side. Adam Halal food cart was bustling with customers, neighbors, and reporters Wednesday morning after the videos showing Seldowitz's tirades went viral. People stopped to show their support for the employees running it while others placed orders online. So I love that. And look, Waz, you are a proud New Yorker. You're living in LA right now, but I just love what that woman said about how these vendors are part of the community and that they look out for one another, for other members of the community.
I mean, that's just kind of what it is. If you don't live in New York, you don't realize that a lot of the convenience stores, the stores that you go in every single day to get milk and eggs and things of that nature, get a sandwich, they're run by a lot of Arab people, a lot of people from Yemen, Pakistan, etc. And 9 times out of 10, these are Muslim people. And so yeah, you become close to these folks. You hang out with them every single day. You crack jokes. You talk about the Knicks. You they're a part of your daily life. And so I'm not surprised that the people in that neighborhood rallied around this kid, because that's just how it is. These people become enmeshed in what you do. I think, in LA, we try to do our best to find community, but it's just, it's just one of those things. It just doesn't happen in that same way that it does where, again, like your neighborhood store that you go to get bread from, so oftentimes is run by Muslim people.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I mean, it's just the landscape is so different in LA. It's sprawling and it's not walkable in most parts of Los Angeles. And so it's harder to establish that sense of community. Whereas in New York, obviously there's better public transportation, it's densely populated. And so I totally get what you're saying there. One final thing I'll report on this story is the reaction that Seldowitz had once he found out that his employer dropped him and condemned him. It's Gotham Government Relations. They dropped Seldowitz after these videos came to light, and they released a statement about ending all affiliation with Seldowitz. And Seldowitz wasn't happy about it. He says he was blindsided by it. He doesn't understand why they put out a statement condemning him. Quote, "I haven't done work with Gotham for a very long time. I had a high opinion of the people at Gotham up until I found out that they had issued the statement. I considered the people at Gotham to be friends, and I haven't had a chance to speak to them or to try to speak to them as to why they felt the need to issue this statement." But apparently they don't consider him a friend, because the founder and president of Gotham, David Schwartz, told City and State the following: "I'll represent the food vendor pro bono if he wants to bring a lawsuit against Stuart Seldowitz. I'm absolutely outraged by this video." So just awesomeness all around in terms of the community coming together to support this vendor and to condemn the absolutely disgusting rhetoric and harassment coming from Seldowitz. All right, any final words on this, Waz, before we move on?
No, look, I'm somebody who rails against the concept of a quote unquote cancel culture. This brother is not being canceled. This guy went out of his way in multiple times. He didn't just have a bad moment, say, you Arab piece of crap, blah, blah, blah. No, he came back multiple times, man. Talked about this man's faith, talked about dead children, and got this guy he's getting what's coming to him. He's getting what he deserves.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below, because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.